Hey, good morning, good Thursday morning, Facebook live stream team. Pretty excited. Welcome to another version of the 10,000. And I keep saying, Marissa, by this time, guess how smart we're getting with all the things we're learning each and every week. So pretty excited about this week, as you know, and you can see her on the screen, my friend Marissa Harrington, my partner. BA, oh boy, it doesn't get any better than that, right? With our broker support team. She and I are here to talk a little bit about prospecting your sphere. And personally, I'm pretty excited about this topic. I know you're pretty excited about this topic. I said, this kind of feels like for you and I, this is kind of like right in our wheelhouse.
Yes.
Like things we look forward to do each and every day. Reaching out to our sphere. It's fun for us to talk about this because there's just a multitude of ways that we can reach out to our sphere, right?
Yes.
We can be creative, we can be traditional in our prospecting.
Yes.
Man, I feel like there's some days, that even when I'm outside the office and I'm in social settings and fun parties and get-togethers at churches and things like that, that there's not a time that I don't feel like I'm prospecting a little bit, right?
You're always prospecting. And that's one of the things that when I sit down with newer agents, especially newer to industry, and they're trying to figure out, how do I build my business?
Yeah.
Where do I get contracts from, right? And I say, well, it's a contact sport, so you can't be a secret agent,
Good
right?
job. Good job.
You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly right. You said that best. I said that, like, the conversations that I get with people, especially as they just get into the industry, like you're saying, it's kind of one of those things like, okay, what do I do first? Okay, what's the most important thing, right? Yep. Well, and we talk about putting together those folks that you have influence over, people that you know in your life, that they need to know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so, to your point, no secret agent here. This is that time that you're talking to people that you want, and aren't those easier calls to make?
So I was talking to an agent yesterday and I said, isn't it easier to be in flow with, talk to folks that already know you, like you, trust you?
Exactly.
They're going to be invested in your business because they know you, like you, trust you, right? So that fear of, well, I'm a new agent, so why should anyone use me? The people that know you, like you, trust you, right? Yep. aren't going to have as much anxiety about working with you and giving you a chance, right? And I put that in quotes because it sounds a little bit like, condescending, but that's how, from the viewpoint of someone that is not in the industry, they don't know. They just know that they know you and they want to work with you.
Yeah. Well, right? and to agree, I agree 100% with what you just said. It feels like the conversations that I hear people say, well, gosh, when I talk to people that know me, like me, and trust me, I don't want to come across salesy. I don't want to come across like, oh my gosh, I'm here to ask for business. And I reassure folks that when you're having these conversations, it can start from anywhere, right? It can start from your kids and what your kids are involved in, or what you're involved in, and these conversations just morph into all kinds of different things, right?
Well, it's if anyone talks to me ever, if you've heard me speak, you know that my favorite word is flow.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. If you don't want to come across as salesy, if you don't want it to seem like you are only reaching out to people, talking to folks because you're a realtor now and you want sales, right? If you don't want it to seem that way, what you have to do is shift your mindset and your thinking to, I'm going to be in flow with these folks and foster and cultivate relationship. That's all you're doing. You're cultivating and fostering relationships. This is why why we're on the call today talking about prospecting your sphere, right? Because all that means is like you're in contact with your sphere and you're using your resources to stay in flow in contact with your sphere. and knowing that that is going to lead to business for you.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, Marissa, I mean, and again, I know you prospect similarly to the way I prospect. Those mornings that I call my ritual mornings, where I'm on the phone with those folks, and I so look forward to having those conversations that my day starts that way every day. And I don't know why, if it's just habit, but that first hour and a half, when I can get on the phone and really engage with people that are in my sphere, maybe some that I haven't talked to in a long time, that I start a conversation by saying, hey, Marissa, it's been a long time since we talked. I am so sorry that hasn't happened. And then you just kind of pick up where you left off. That's how some of those conversations start. That's how, again, much of this begins. And so for people just getting into the business and saying, oh my gosh, having to pick up this phone, and geez, I don't, what if they,
intimidating.
What if they say no? What if they say no? Or what if I just don't know what to say? I mean, how do you start a conversation with prospecting with your, because they like you, right? Why don't they want to talk to you? They do.
That's a great question. That's a great question. So I do want to caution, you know, as realtors, when we hear the word prospecting, we think that that's equivalent to sales. Okay. Prospecting is just outreach. If you shift your thinking from sales to outreach, that's all it is. Then those phone calls become easier because you're, hey, how you doing? How's life? You ask specific questions. So we call these Ford questions: family, occupation, recreation, dream, right? So you're calling, you're saying hello, there's a greeting, then you ask a Ford question: how's the family? Or how's work? Or how's tennis? Or how's that vacation that you guys went on, or the vacation you're planning? They tell you, and you're like, oh, that's great. I just want to check in with you. It sounds like everything's going great. Have a good day.
Exactly.
Right?
But it can be just as easy as that, right?
Yes.
And those are those touches.
We're not talking about real estate.
Nope. But isn't it interesting in what I'm finding, just simply because spring is here, right? And everybody's kind of getting excited about, hey, what's going to happen this year in real estate?
Right.
It feels so easy to, especially when I'm talking to people that I know and that know that I do what I do, it's so easy to transition that conversation into real estate, you know, to, hey, what's happening right now in the world of real estate? Doug, tell me something, right?
And that's okay. If it happens naturally in the conversation, they know you're a realtor, right?
Right.
And most of the time, it actually, for me personally, almost 100% of the time, if I'm just having a conversation with someone and I'm not even trying to talk to you about real estate, they bring it up because they know what I do.
Exactly.
Right. So you don't need this thought of you need to work really hard to get these deals, and you have to work really hard for people to want to come to you. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just be human. Be in touch. Be in flow. Prospecting your sphere looks like taking 2 people a week for coffee. Prospecting your sphere looks like I'm going to host a movie night in the summer for all of my friends and family that have kids. Prospecting your sphere looks like writing notes every day, phone call. That's what prospecting your sphere is. And there's nothing that I have mentioned that is unnatural, you know, intimidating in terms of the unknown. These are people you already know.
Yep.
Right.
And that's exactly right. Well, and to kind of transition into my next thought with regards to how do you get people to keep talking about you, or as I say, carrying your flag.
Right.
You just gave great examples for how that works and how that happens. And it happens very naturally, right?
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
You gotta be top of mind, right? So you hear this in the industry a lot: top of mind. Right? What does that even mean? What it means is someone thinks of you first.
Exactly.
right? Someone thinks of you first. If there's a real estate need that they have or someone that they know has, they go, oh, I just talked to Marissa, or I just had lunch with Marissa, or I just went to this event Marissa did, or Marissa just inboxed me on Facebook just to say hi. Top of mind, right? So prospecting your sphere means that you are working to be top of mind with these people so that when it is time to refer or they have a real estate need, they call you.
Exactly. Well, and it's as simple as that, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. Well, it's kind of interesting that, and I keep using this analogy that our friend Tracy Johnson talks about with the tree.
Yes.
And we talk about, us being that trunk of that tree,
Right.
making those calls, building those relationships, and then literally letting people do what? Carry your flag, so a branch can go off this way and a branch can go off this way, and unbeknownst to you, and I think we all talked about this as a group one time. I got a call from somebody out of the blue, and I mean totally out of the blue, and this person said, "Hey, I just got your name from somebody. It was somebody that I sold a house to last year, right? And they told me to call you. I'm ready to sell my home." Now, I'm on the phone, and this shows you how I didn't stay in touch with my sphere well, because I didn't remember who those folks were. I always say to people, I got lucky. I got really lucky that they're out there carrying my flag, telling people, hey, you need to call Doug when a real estate need arises.
Right.
Someone did. And I kind of was caught off guard, but then thankfully I said, well, I must be doing something right by prospecting my sphere, because people are out telling my story.
Right.
And I know you've had that. Your team probably has that too, right?
Yes.
When you guys talk about that. I mean,
Yes.
do you engage with your team in the same way that, I mean, do you share with them the importance of prospecting and how that looks? And
so
tell me a little bit about that.
It's not something that just I do. So basically, I built my team under these philosophies, right? So people, if they come onto my team, have to understand that this is the culture of the team.
This is how you work. This is how you work.
The culture of the team is we actually have a tagline. We're about family, we're about community, we're about transparency. That's like our mission, right? So what does that look like? And so as a team, we create our outreach activities with that tagline, family, community, transparency. So we do a lot of community service. Just everything that we do is centered around that. And that is the culture, right? So I've been very intentional about that because, before I had a team and I was a solo agent, I was trying to chase leads like everybody else. And that's not really my wheelhouse. It's not enjoyable for me. It gives me a lot of anxiety. Cold calling gives me anxiety. And I realized after a couple of years in the business that I would not have longevity in this business if I had to keep doing that.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that makes sense.
Out by doing door knocking. This is just me personally, right?
Yeah.
So I had to take a step back and go, okay, who am I? What are my strengths? I'm a relator.
Yep.
So that's a strength of mine. I like connecting with people. I like networking. I like service, right? Yep. Those are my things. So I had to say, okay, I need to shift my business to get back in my wheelhouse and not be over here doing all the things that I think a realtor should be doing. I'm reading all these blogs and, all this kind of stuff. And they're telling me I need to call expires. And again, nothing wrong with any of that. It's just not in my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
My wheelhouse is for prospecting my sphere.
Yeah. Well, and as that kind of transition, we talk about keeping those referrals coming, right? It's the same way. You're doing the same thing by cultivating. Those people are out there doing the same thing for you and your team. And isn't it great to be able to have those referrals keep coming?
wonderful.
sometimes out of nowhere, right?
It's always out of nowhere. You're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. I didn't know.
Right.
Well, but it makes sense that you guys and you personally, you've got certain strategies. You know what you're good at. You know what works for you. You know where your anxiety is, and so you don't want to be there. You want to make sure you're doing the things that you feel are going to move your business forward.
Exactly.
So, well, and I'm always one of those guys that talks about know your numbers, know your numbers, know where your business is coming from.
Exactly.
So if it works, why is it not duplicatable over and over?
There it is.
Right?
There it is.
And
right.
I know that sounds kind of simple, but if it's working for you and you're passionate about it, and you see the results, you just keep doing this. This isn't about reinventing the wheel, right?
No, nope. Do the thing, right? Do the thing that will get that same result, right? And that's why, we talked at the end of last quarter about business planning, and that was a part of the business planning is examining where all your business was coming from. Because that was the turning point for me. Is I did the business plan in my second year, it was like 2.5 years in. And I was seeing that even though I was at the time, I was paying for leads.
Okay.
I was seeing that most of my business was starting to come from my sphere and referrals. And not my investment of these leads. And I was like, so I could take this same money that I'm paying per month on these leads that are not generating business.
Not helping you.
And put it into my sphere.
I
can write more notes. I can do client events, right? I can send gifts.
Well, and that's where, again, back to the question of knowing your numbers, know where your money should be spent. We talk about half the money you spend on advertising is wasted. You just don't know which half, right? So you do some things that you're thinking, well, why don't I just get back to the basics? Why don't I prospect? I like to prospect. I have this good feeling that I need to connect with people on a regular basis and share with more of my sphere what I'm doing, allowing them to share more things with others about me. So all those things happen. I mean, I looked at my numbers the other day too, and again, over 85% of my business last year, 85% came from my sphere. And I'm thinking, Doug, if you don't take care of your sphere,
you gotta lean into it, Doug.
What
you
are
gotta
you
lean
thinking?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where, again, this whole idea of prospecting, understanding, what's going to work for you, what you enjoy doing, and what you see results in, make a lot of sense. A lot of the events that you do, Marissa, you gave the example of the movie night and some of those things. A way of prospecting, right?
Yes.
Sure it is. Sure it is. And I'm sure people want to come up and talk with you at that event.
Exactly.
And again, that just share with us a little bit about some of those, because I know you guys do a lot of those, and they work. They do work. Yeah. So there's two things that we do. So we do client events. The client events, we specifically and intentionally invite past and current clients. So we've done a whole host of things. We have done a bowling night. So we rented out like a bowling alley, one side of it, and we just had the whole room, and people got together and bowled and ate. And we rented out a movie theater. And so our clients, with our current and past clients with kids, that came to movie theater, and the Sandlot. We watched the Sandlot. Nice.
And paid for their snacks, and just we have this coming up in June, but we also did this a few years ago, this pre-COVID, where we did a girls trip. We did a wine trip.
Ooh,
to a
nice.
winery.
Okay, okay.
So we're going to do that again this year, but just kind of stepping it up a little bit. So those are all things that we've offered to past and current clients.
Sure.
They're like perks, right?
Yeah.
You know, you worked with us. Thank you. We're keeping this relationship going. Here's all this cool stuff. You know, we tell people, you know, once you sign on the dotted line and you close on your house, that's not the last that you hear from us.
I'm gonna say it's kind of
Right.
that adoption process. Now I'm adopting them into my sphere, right?
I'm
Yeah.
your realtor for life. This is for life. This is not transactional, right?
Yeah.
It's not this one transaction and we're done. Like you're connected for life. And so we do what we do so that we can stay in flow with our past clients. And then we have a monthly meetup, I guess you could call it, that we do for anybody, right? We advertise it on Facebook, but we meet up at a local brewery once a month and we just hang out. Again, nobody's talking about real estate.
Right.
It's hosted by the Harrington team, but we're not talking about real estate. We're just there eating and drinking, playing games with our kids, and we just invite people and people come. So
that is so cool. Well, and these are great events. They're planned. Again, these are, when I say touch points, these are a way of staying engaged with your sphere. And so when we talk about that word prospecting, that, like we just talked about, that means so many different things to so many different people, right? And I always tell people, be good. I mean, do what you're good at.
Exactly.
Do what you're good at. And again, it doesn't need to be, if they're just getting into the business and they don't have the resources to do a night at a brewery or a movie theater or something like that. Just the small touch points, and set a schedule for how often you're going to communicate with your sphere. Again, spending that necessary time. And I think that people are going to see traction in that even when they first get started. And I said, these little mini victories that you have when you prospect your sphere kind of feels good, because it just does. It feels like you're really moving the needle. You're really making a difference in a lot of people's lives. So,
and you know, you're connecting with humans. It's strengthening your relationships, and it's strengthening your community as a whole, right? Sure. So that's why it feels good, because you know you're human, and you're connecting with other humans in a human way, right?
Sure, absolutely. No, that makes total sense. Well, these are all good things. I'm hoping as people are writing these things down, that they're identifying with, hey, this might work, and I've never tried this before. And if I can just step out of my comfort zone a little bit, get out of my head, a little bit about Ninja. That's probably a lot of it, right? And again, I know people are just kind of getting in and getting their feet wet a little bit with Ninja, right? And again, you're seeing probably some victories from people as they call, and as you kind of coach them through different things, that they're now realizing that, hey, I need to spend more time prospecting.
Yes.
You know, isn't that crazy how that works?
Well, it's one of those things where you have to encourage people to do the easy and obvious thing, right? Because I think, you know, there may be this thought that it's magic, right? So when I see a successful realtor, you know, they have the secret sauce, they have the, you know, and it may not be. It could just be as simple as, can you just stay in touch with the people you know? It could just be that simple, right? And it won't feel like work. It won't feel like work.
And it won't feel awkward, because you're doing it consistently, right?
Exactly.
The uncomfortable part for a lot of people when they say, well, Doug, I don't like to prospect. I just no, I don't want to do that. It sounds like you don't do it enough, right? Because when you do it and it kind of just starts to be a part of who you are. Exactly. It just flows, to your point. Exactly. I keep using your word. I keep using your word flows. Don't ask me why.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yes.
So fun. So fun. Well, this has been good. I mean, I think we've touched on some good things. I think we have some good things to kind of apply to our business. I don't know if you want to share your kind of your closing thoughts. We don't want to take up too much of the group's time, but things that you think we should be doing as we get into the spring market. I love to talk about pre-spring market and what's going to happen in real estate this year, even though we all don't know. But it gives us a lot of good conversation. And again, maybe this is an opportunity that we have to kind of share with people what our thoughts are on 2022. So your thoughts.
So we've had economic updates, right? As a company, we had one, and then our local association, we had one a few weeks ago. And, national economists are saying that the market is pretty much going to stay where it is right now, right? It's going to remain a seller's market because we have low inventory and you have a lot of folks that can afford to buy houses now. Interest rates they're rising, but they're not going to get too high where people can't afford to buy. So we're going to stay where we are right now. So in this kind of market, obviously, it would be awesome to have listings, right? Absolutely. It would be awesome to have listings. And so this is where it's very key to get in contact with your sphere, right? Be in flow with your sphere, because there are people in your sphere that need to move. Yep. They need to move, they want to move, and you want to be the person that they call when they have that need. And so now that we're in the last month of the first quarter, this is the time. Do that outreach, even if it's folks that you have not spoken to in a while. They know you. They're not going to be mad that you're reaching out, right? Nope. So write 2 notes a day. Make some phone calls. Our goal is 50 a week, but if that sounds really, really scary to you, maybe just start with 1 phone call a day. You got to start somewhere, but you have to put yourself out there. And like I said in the beginning of this call, don't be a secret agent. You want people to call you, but how are they going to call you if they don't remember you? Right? So you have to start somewhere. And you don't have to spend money. Everything that I'm saying right now, the most that I'm saying is, buy some postage. Yep. So you can send note card.
Yep. Well, and the strategy of being consistent at what you do. Exactly. Don't you find it interesting that the people that do this, they're not better at it than I am. They're just more consistent at it than I am. So the more they do, the more you apply to what you're doing in terms of your business, it just totally makes sense. So I'm going to end with saying the same thing that you're saying, Marissa. It doesn't always have to cost money to prospect your sphere. They want to hear from you. They know you, they like you, they trust you. And man, do those conversations go great with your sphere, because they're a fan. They're a fan of yours, right? So talk to them more, not necessarily ask for business, but live life with your sphere. And,
there it is.
And I love the fact that you adopt them and just reassure people that this is just the beginning of a long relationship together. So, Marissa, thanks. This has been good. And man, I feel so compelled right now. I got to hurry up and get off this video and get back on my phone call. I got to get back to prospecting. So, all right, everybody. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time today. I hope everybody took a little piece of what we talked about and apply it. Let your broker support team know what you're doing. Share with them questions. And I know full well that I'm anxious to see people move that needle in their business and apply to some good things. So, all right, Marissa, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, everybody.
Nothing personal, but spring's coming, guys, and I'm feeling it. So, all right, go talk to some people. Go prospect. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being with us today.